Yanur has 6+ years of startup building experience in edtech industry. Founded his first company, Bohubrihi, during his university days, bootstrapped it for 4 years and got acquired by Shikor in a cash and stock deal in late 2021. After heading it for another 2.5 years, he recently exited to build his next venture, Monsha AI, for teachers and educators around the world. Products, customers, and go-to market are his comfort zone. Finding problems, building solutions, getting them out into the market, and building a meaningful business along the way. TETC, together, let's welcome Yanur Islam Paish.
So Yanur will be speaking on ChatGPT, prompt engineering for educators, best practices for better result. Like I've said multiple times during my session, the way you get the best out of generative AI is what is called prompt engineering, knowing how to craft what you need to say so that you can get the best response. In Google search, the more specific you are, the more limited you get. But with AI, the more specific you are, the more rich you get. So if there is any skill that any educator or anybody using AI need to acquire, it is the skill of being able to do proper prompting. And
Cool. Thank you, Timmy. And hello, everyone. Welcome to this session. Let me just share my screen. Mhm. Can you see it? Yeah, thank you. I just want to know, there are 131 of you here. Where are you from? From which countries? I'm from Bangladesh, and I am guessing many of you are from Africa region, but I would like to see where else and where specifically. Yeah, nice to be here. So I'm guessing you can see my screen, so I'll just go on with my slide. Uh, a bit more about me, actually not more, actually repeating what already Timmy said, but in my words. So I am Yanur Islam Paish. You can call me Yanur or Paish. Our friends call me Paish. And I'm from Bangladesh, as I said, and I come from chemical engineering background. So I studied engineering in a Bangladeshi university. And while studying, I started a company called Bohubrihi. So Bohubrihi is a Bengal word, which means multidimensional in English. So I started it with my friends in our dorm and grew it for like 4 and 5 years. And then another company, Shiko, which is a leading the top edtech player in Bangladesh. So they acquired our company. The whole team and whole company joined Shiko. So I moved into Shiko and I served in that leadership team for another 2.5 years before quitting. So I quit that company to work on my next company, which is Monsha.ai. And as you can guess, it's an AI tool for teachers. So throughout all those years, I've worked with students, I've worked with teachers, and I had different ideas like what to work on. So I decided, and with my co-founder Adil, we decided to focus on the teachers. And because my wife is a teacher and Adil's wife and Adil's mother, they are teachers too. So we decided to work for teachers and started talking to them, started uh, like like pinpointing their problems and focusing on 2 or 3 problems to solve with Monsha.ai. So this is an opportunity for me as well because I get to speak to a lot of teachers in a place. So when the organizers approached to me for this conference, I was very looking forward to it. So here we go. But before proceeding to the sessions, here's some context. There are many AI tools in the market, ChatGPT, Copilot, Gemini, Claude. I created this presentation specifically for ChatGPT, primarily for ChatGPT, but you can use all the tactics and all these information or best practices for any of those tools. Personally, I prefer ChatGPT because it suits my use case because I am a bit of more advanced users and some of its advanced features help me quite a lot. So I use that. But lately I have been using Claude as well. And honest to say, I'm pretty impressed by the content it generates, because especially for text, it generates better results than ChatGPT in my experience, because ChatGPT sounds like more AI or robotic in its response, but Claude sounds like more human. So I prefer that. But again, for my use case and for my diverse set of uh, needs, let's focus on ChatGPT right now. So before like jumping into the tips and tricks on ChatGPT and how you can use it, first let's quickly go through uh, why you can use ChatGPT or what you can use ChatGPT for. So I did a survey among the teachers. I talked to them online, offline, whatever I could, and so they tell me they're obviously using it for lesson planning, using it for class presentations, lecture notes, using it to differentiate instruction or any content for a different grade level or for a different difficulty level or even language, whatever. They're generating content for teaching materials, for study materials, and any text-based things. They're also creating quizzes and tests. They're creating assignments, creating rubrics for those assignments, and even some of them are trying to like generate those assignments submitted by students based on those rubrics. So here is a caveat here. If you try to like create and if you do it for like 40 students or 50 students in a class, it's still a lot of work, because you have to like use the same prompt, provide the same prompt 40 or 50 times. So in those scenario, this is still a lot of headwork, and you can further reduce the workload by in two methods actually. By one is actually using those tools that are specifically made for grading based on AI, or you can use custom GPT. This is an advanced feature from ChatGPT. You can Google it, you can check it out, and you can see some tutorials on how to create ChatGPT, custom GPT for like repetitive advanced tasks. I'm not covering it here, and it would be too long. Also, you can use create different learning tools, flashcards, worksheets, simulations, whatever. To be honest, I've personally not used them as of yet, but you can try. Other teachers are trying according to the survey, so you can try as well. And obviously, anything writing related, you can use ChatGPT, be it parent-teacher communication, email to parents, teachers, or admin, report card feedback, assignment feedback, anything, any text related, you can create within ChatGPT, or you can better it with ChatGPT with the right prompts. So now let's get to the prompts. From now on, throughout the rest of the presentation, I will be sharing 9 to 10 tips specifically on ChatGPT. We'll start from the basic and then move on to the more interesting and complex ideas. So first one is pretty straightforward and pretty obvious. Like you'll have to obviously include as much details as you want in your query. You don't want to just say, hey, create me a lesson plan. You'll have to also like define the grade level, define the subject, define the difficulty, what components you want in your lesson plan, reference maybe, whatever. So you'll have to put as much instructions as you can concisely, because you don't want ChatGPT to guess what you want. You have to put it there. But again, you also have to be wary that more instructions doesn't mean more text or heavy, fluffy, long prompts, because those do more harm than good. So you'll have to put as much instruction as you need so that ChatGPT doesn't have to guess, and also you'll have to put it in a concise or succinct way. Here are a few examples. You can take 30 seconds to just read them. I'll then go to the next slide. Also, if you have questions, you can write in the comments. I'll get back to them when I can. Okay, so next one is, this is interesting, asking ChatGPT to adopt a persona, because when you are like writing something or using ChatGPT, you are using in a chat or in a thread. So you're likely to talk with ChatGPT keep back and do back and forth, follow it up with further prompts. So you're having a conversation with ChatGPT. So if you ask it to adopt a persona at the beginning of that conversation, it converts with you from that point of view, from as that persona. So all the things it says resonates with that persona more, and that the voice, the tone, the writing style, the content output uh, falls in that category or in that style more. For example, you can ask it to adopt a persona of a teacher, or more specifically a history teacher, or a like ELA teacher. So next one is put the instructions at the beginning of the prompt. So this is uh, pretty simple but pretty important, because what ChatGPT does is it doesn't read the whole prompt and then starts analyzing it or starts generating the output. It doesn't work that way. So if you write a long prompt, it starts reading the prompt and starts analyzing or making up the output in its back of its mind. So if you don't put the main instruction, main action point in the beginning, and if you put it in the bottom, by the time it gets to the bottom, it has already started generating some kind of responses based on the fluff you have put in the beginning. So it's very, very important to put the main action point as early as you can in your prompt. For example, this is the right way. Summarize. This is the action point, main action point. Summarize the passage below and then the passage. You don't want to like, here is the passage, then the long passage, and then summarize it. You don't want to do that. This is not the best practice. Another disclaimer, this and all the tips and tricks I will be sharing in this presentation works best, especially when the prompt is complex and the task is complex. You wouldn't find much difference if the prompt is pretty small and straightforward. So for example, for a small prompt, putting summarize in the beginning or end doesn't make a lot of difference. But as the prompt gets heavier, these actions, these tips come in handy. So it's always better to keep these as your practice, so that these are good habits to build while using ChatGPT. Next up, use delimiters to clearly indicate distinct parts of the input. So if you are writing prompt, for example, it's a big prompt. There are action points, instructions, and there are also contexts. And in context, you are putting out different information within your prompt, and they are creating like the output based on those information. So oftentimes you might have to put in different types of information and refer to those information in your prompt. So it's always better to use delimiters like triple quotes or XML tags or like subject heading or paragraph heading to separate those information and lay out in a rearrange in a way that is easier to read. For example, in the second example here, it says you'll be provided with a lesson abstract and a suggested title for it. And then there is an instruction based on the abstract and title. So here is the abstract and here is the title. So you are referring to the abstract and title, and you are putting abstract and title in a title format. Also, here is 3 double quotes or triple quotes, as you can see. And here is another example. This is saying you will be provided with a pair of teaching method descriptions. So there are 2 teaching methods. So I'm referring to teaching methods which are delimited with XML tags. So here is the tag method, and here is the first method within the tag. Here is the second method within the tag. So I've put those methods separately because each methods could be a long, a multiple paragraph. So each paragraph might have double quotes. So if you are already using double quotes to like separate some portion of it, you can't use another double quote to separate another portion of it. So you might have to use different delimiters in a single prompt, maybe double quotes, maybe paragraph title and tags. So the more complex the prompt, the more delimiters you can use to distinct one type of information from another type of information and refer to those information within your prompt in a clearer way so that ChatGPT can read easily. Again, handy if the prompt is more complex. Specify the steps to required to complete a task. So if you ask ChatGPT to like do a big task which involves multiple steps, you might say, hey, let's do that. This is a big task, let's do that. So what it will do is it will break down the task in its head and try to follow those steps and come to an output. But if you know that this task is complex and there is a chance that ChatGPT might go in the wrong direction, it's always better practice to like lay out the steps yourself so that ChatGPT can follow them and it doesn't have to think or calculate back of its mind. You are just uh, ChatGPT is a noob. You are laying out all the steps for a noob so that they can follow and follow. For example, this is a prompt. Use the following step-by-step instruction to respond. So step one is I will provide you with a text in triple quotes. So this is a delimiter triple quotes and there is a text as a reference. So here is the text. And step one is summarize the text and call it summary. Step two is translate it into Spanish. Translate the summary into Spanish and translate. So next one is specify. It's easy. Specify the desired length of the output. So if you are in a space crunch, like you are having to put all these text in a small text area or a part of a bigger content. So each component should be smaller, should be concise. You can specify the output length. Even if you are not in a space crunch, ChatGPT often tends to generate longer text. If you ask it to, hey, write a lesson plan, it will like probably generate 300 words lesson plan. It would be fluffy. It would be unnecessary words, unnecessary paragraphs. If you don't ask it to be concise or succinct specifically. So in times like that, you might want to specify the length. You can specify the length in terms of number of words, number of sentences, number of paragraphs, number of bullet points. But keep in mind, in my experience, and ChatGPT recommends this as well, paragraphs and bullet points are better to specify the length. If you specify using number of words or number of characters, it gets close, but it doesn't quite get accurate. So ChatGPT doesn't quite follow the character limit or word limit. So it's better to specify in terms of number of paragraphs and number of bullet points. Next up, articulate the desired output format through example. For example, if you are creating an if you have an Excel sheet and you want to put extract information from that Excel sheet and put it in a specific format. So in your prompt, you should specify that format so that ChatGPT can extract that information from the Excel sheet or maybe from a large block of text where there may be a scientific research paper. There are lots of information, but you want to extract those information and put it in a presentable way or a way that of you a way of you of your likings actually. So for example, this is the text. You can see it in second bracket. Here, this is the reference, and this is where you are putting the instruction, like extract this information, and this is the desired format: school name, comma separated list, principal names, number of students, number of teachers. So this way you get what you want and how you want it. This is fun. Instead of saying what not to do, say what to do. Because if you say, hey, don't do it, it won't do it, but it also doesn't know what to do instead. So it will assume the next best thing and it will do that. But the next best thing isn't either what you want. So instead of saying, hey, don't do it, actually specify what you want from it. For example, this is the wrong approach. Don't just focus on dates and battles while creating a report on, say, French Revolution. So don't just focus on dates and battles. So you can turn this don't into do's. For example, analyze these, use specific examples, instead of focusing on deaths and battles, focus on that instead, right? You get the idea. This is very important and this is most useful to all of us. Provide reference text whenever you can or wherever you need. These language models, be it ChatGPT or any other model, they are fed into information from a large data set from around the internet and public information. And oftentimes they're relevant, but sometimes you want them to be super relevant to your base content, your reference, maybe a lesson plan, maybe a textbook, maybe an article, maybe an YouTube video, whatever. So you want that content, output content, to be super relevant to your reference text. So whenever you have those reference texts, whenever you can, use them and use them using delimiters like this. So here you can insert the reference. You refer the reference in the beginning, use the provided text in triple quote to come up with answer. So here is the text and here is the question. So it will use this text to come up with the answer of this question. I will see more examples of that in the future, in the later slides. But even when like you put this reference text, ChatGPT still tends to go outside of this reference and use its information to come up with more output that is outside of your reference text, and it does in a way, so it does it so confidently that you wouldn't notice like this it skipped your reference or it went beyond your reference. So if you want to make it accountable, more accountable, and if you want to stick it to your like reference, there is another trick, which is instruct ChatGPT to answer with citations from a reference text. So you have given a reference, and as it generates output from that reference, you can also ask it to cite the part of reference it is using to generate the content it is generating. For example, this is an example. Take a minute to read this and then I'll explain. So here I have the reference delimited in the triple quote. I am referring the reference and I'm putting the instruction, answer the questions using only the provided document. And I'm also asking it to cite the passage of the document used to answer the question. And if the document does not contain the information, just simply write insufficient information. I'm going one step further. I'm also asking it to use the specific format to like cite the citation or cite the reference. So it is still getting unclear. So I'll just share an example of an output from this prompt. So here is an output. This is the output. This is the content it generates, and this is the citation. And this in double quote is the part of reference it is using to generate this part of the answer. This is another citation, part of a reference to generate this content. It also says does not specifically discuss metaphase and anaphase, two phases of mitosis cell division. So the provided document doesn't answer. So as I said, if you don't have the answer in the reference, just say it. So it just said. If you didn't do it, if you didn't push it this hard, it would go to the internet, it would confidently come back with another answer. So we have shared some of the tactics, and if you combine all the things we have learned, all the best practices we have discussed in this session, and put it into one prompt to create a comprehensive prompt for, say, lesson plan creation, it would look something like this. I'll give you 2 minutes to read this prompt and find out or think in your mind what are the good practices discussed here have been followed in this prompt. Okay, so it says you are an expert teacher. So I'm asking it to adopt a persona skilled at creating engaging and effective lesson plans. So this is his task. She is a teacher and she's skilled at creating engaging and effective lesson plans. And I'm putting the instructions. I am referring to the reference or instructions there in demarcated in delimiters, 3 double quotes. I am telling it what to do, not telling it what not to do. I am also like laying out the format of the output. I want these components in my lesson plans and instructions for each of these components. I am also specifying the output length in terms of words, which is a mistake, not mistake, less recommended practice. I have also, like, this is a recommended practice, 5 bullet points. So I've specified the bullet points as well. So these are some of, and I have also, like, yeah, you get the idea. So my point is all the things we have discussed, all the ideas we have discussed, these are not comprehensive list of ideas. There are many other ideas, and not all of these ideas are equally useful for all of us. So it depends on your use case, it depends on your style, your content, what you are generating, and some of it are more useful than others. So the best way to deal with them is to try it yourself and find it out. And ChatGPT tends to be better. So your 10th lesson plan will be a lot better than your first lesson plan, uh, and the number of follow-ups needed to get the perfect answer will be reduced over time. So give them a try and give other examples or other ideas a try as well. And if you find all of them like still way too overwhelming, you can always use other tools like Magic School or Defeat. I'm sure these are being discussed in this conference and you will be getting tutorials on them. So yeah, give them a try as well. Uh, the thing about Magic School is I like that there are many tools, so they cover the prompt engineering for you. Although I personally believe those prompt engineering could be done better, could be more comprehensive, but you get to generate a wider range of things. So they have a lot of the tools. Another tool I like is Defeat. I like it more because it is not so wide in use case compared to Magic School. It does a few things, very few things, but does it very well. They are very thoughtful on their product. So you can try it as well. And also, obviously, you can check out Monsha.ai as well. We are not yet at par with Magic School or Defeat, to be honest, because we are just starting out and we're having to have some catching up to do as well. But uh, as of now, you can create lesson plans, academic resources, and questions. You can like provide your reference, any text, YouTube video, link from the internet or any topic. You can specify grade level, language, and question types like MCQ, true, false, whatever. And if you hit generate, you will see something like this as an output. So this is pretty uh, basic in terms of flexibility or functionality, but the output is quite good as per feedback. So you can check it out, and I would be most happy if you just share your feedback via paish@monsha.ai. Uh, and that would be the best outcome for me personally from this session. And in return, I hope I have been able to share some of the insights I've generated working on prompt engineering. So yeah,
All right, thank you so much. You can still leave your screen sharing. You can still share your screen. So in the event that people have questions. Thank you so much, Yanur. Can you still share your screen? Please share your screen. Okay, I think that's fine. So thank you so much for your time. And we're just going to open it up for questions. If we have questions, I think some people have questions. Let me look here. Yes. I once engaged ChatGPT 3.5 version requesting for accurate and current reference, but discovered that the references supplied were not real. How do I correct this?
Where is this?
It's a question. Say I engage ChatGPT 3.5 version requesting for accurate and current reference, but discovered that the references supplied were not real. How do I correct this? It's on the Q&A. You can check it out. The 4 minutes ago.
Yeah, got it.
So do you want to speak to that?
So I'm not sure
Yeah.
what not real means. Also, I would suggest using GPT-4 because in terms of searching internet in real time and like putting reference or reading reference or external links, ChatGPT-4 is better, but I understand that's in the paid version. So I'm not sure what not real meant here.
Okay. Another question says, excuse me, how effective is ChatGPT in research writing, such as thesis, proposal, journal, etc.? Because I use it, but it does not give detailed answers.
Yeah, so these are good for like surface level research or primary level research. You will have to obviously, like if you start from the top down approach, you will have to first you will have to first ask it to generate surface level question, and most of the time it will generate surface level question unless this model is specifically trained on research level topics or scientific research or journals. So I know there are other tools based on AI which are specifically used for pulling information from research articles using all the directories of research. So you can try those. But for ChatGPT, it always has limit because it only uses the public information to train their language models. So if you have to use ChatGPT, just start from scratch, use it to like do preliminary research and then deep dive into each section of it with further prompting and then back it up with like probably real research articles.
All right. There's another question. Hi, everyone. I am a researcher in the field of international law and human rights law and a reporter for the Oxford University Press. I think we read this one earlier. I started using AI tool for my work, especially. I usually write on decision made by the African court. Okay, so I think I answered this one. I made them know that if the research, if the judgment or the if what you are researching on is something that is very recent, a recent decision, you won't find it, especially because if it is not in the public domain before the last data set that was used, none of the AIs will be able to provide that for you. Another question says, I teach Bible and other contemporary topics in the youth church. Can this AI tool be useful for me, and which one? Yeah, all right. So you must understand that AI is a tool. It looks at resources online. So one of the resources that will be online, that is online, is the Bible. So it will pull resources from the Bible And it will be based on, and that's one of the things that, especially in issues that has to do with ethics, religion, and all of that, AI is trained by human beings. So you must understand that their bias is factored into the AI. At one way or the other, a left-leaning or a right-leaning developer will always build his own quality or values into his product. It's like that with every human being, every producer, you building your value into your product. So that is why you might use it to gain resources. And like we've always mentioned, as a teacher, as a user, as a human user, you have to be the brain behind the content you are going to use. AI helps you pull resources together, but you are responsible for how you use that resource. And so I think that will provide that context that you don't give your brain over to AI. You use your brain, you engage it, you get resources, and then you work on those resources before you put them out. I've been on a panel where somebody was giving an example of student or of people looking for employment, and they used ChatGPT to write application letter. The person was so, the person was so naive, such that he or she just copied everything that ChatGPT provided with generalized text that put your name here, put your address here, put your position here, put it in the application and sent it. That is like giving your brain over to ChatGPT and letting him do everything. No, it's supposed to be like the 80-20 rule. You still put the most important aspect of your 20% into the work to get out a product that you are pleased with and that reflects the message that you want to pass across. Can the question be timed within a specific time for students to respond and complete the questions? All right. Okay. Can questions be timed within a specific minute for students to respond and complete the questions? So this, you are looking at, okay, on tomorrow, by I think the second session tomorrow will be a walkthrough of an AI app that also does examination. So you might want to check on that. But if AI app, some of the ones we demonstrated today are not exam delivery platforms. They can set the questions for you, they can help you, but they don't determine, they are not exam execution platform. They don't offer that. So except for those that are specific for that purpose, there are some out there. I would like to know if I can use this tool for evaluating students, especially in facilitating workshops on tertiary institutions. Yes, we looked at risk, and I think Magic School and all of that too. All of these AI tools can provide feedback. So you can, and then when we start looking at the chatbots and the tutors, you can upload rubrics into them and decide who is A student, who is B student, who is C student. And as they engage with the AI, based on the rubrics you've already uploaded into that platform, into the chatbot, it will assess them according to that rubrics. Eventually, you have the final say. I think during the Flint AI session later today or tomorrow, that will also be demonstrated for you to see. So most of the chatbots, you can determine how you want them to engage with the student.
So there is another question. All the engineering prompts you explained, are they particular to ChatGPT or is it applicable to every other AI? So they are applicable to ChatGPT and its direct alternatives like Claude or Gemini or Copilot. But if you mean every other AI, means OpenAI based tools or other language model based tools like Magic School or whatever. So anywhere you have to prompt, these are useful and these are applicable. That's it.
All right. Any other question? Let's see. Thank you, Mr. Yanur, for the valuable value passed across. Is it safe to say that all the engineering prompts you explain are particular to okay, you have answered this. All right. Okay, let's see. Okay, we have answered this. Please, what web AI have? Nothing is going backward. What is just now? So a rubric is a set of instructions. How do I put it? It's a grading scale that is not percentages. Okay, I think the best way to do this is, I don't have an example. So a rubrics could be it's a way of not maybe qualitatively assessing a student
Like
work. You can
judgment
say, okay,
criteria.
yeah, judgment criteria. You can say excellent. If the student does this level of work, then it is excellent. Very good if it provides this amount of information, then it is very good. Then good, and then fair, and then very bad. So it is not based on percentages nor ABC. It is based on some descriptors. That excellence means the student provides or produces this level of work. So that is what is called a rubric. So you can determine. I think we would look at that also in one of these sessions that talks about rubrics. Okay, I'm a Yoruba teacher at an EdTech company. However, it's been very difficult trying to generate Yoruba lessons content online due to most apps not having Yoruba. Yeah, this is one of the nuances of education in Africa. I remember when we were setting up this program and I had to engage one of the providers, and one of the conversation was that the fact that AI has very limited data sets in Africa. And that is true because Africa is a very multilingual and multi-tribal environment where everybody have their languages, and those languages have somewhat gone under the colonial language. It's not like that in Asian countries. Unfortunately, in Africa, it is like that. And so there are no texts. There are no texts, and there are no true sources of text, original text in most of our languages. And so there are still most of these LLMs and most of these AI platforms still don't have those languages built in. You can still find them on Google Translate, but some of them have, some of these AI apps haven't. I think I have seen one that has Hausa. I know Google Translate has Igbo, Yoruba, and Hausa, but most of the AI platform, I don't think they have gotten to that point yet. So nonetheless, I think as it evolves, it will be. And that's one of the things we also, we posted in the group chat about one of the purposes of the conference is also to build something for the Nigerian sector to meet our particular need in terms of language and our use cases. So we'll be pushing out the forms again. We need feedbacks and support and input from relevant educators to help build in features into those things. I think, do we still have, okay, do we still have questions? I think, all right, so let's put our questions in the question and answer section. Yeah, you still have another, I think, okay, so I'll be moving on to the next session. Yanur, thank you so much. I'll get back to you on maybe any other thing. We're looking at prompt engineering in a more elaborate 1 hour, 2 hour session during our webinar series. And I would see the possibility of bringing you back so that we can really do deep dive into, and then it will be more like a hands-on session, not just a keynote or a presentation like this, where people will get into their laptops and they'll be able to practicalize some of these tools. So the first one will be towards the ending of August. I'll let you know if that session is fine for you or if subsequent ones will be coming up.
Cool.
All right.
Cool.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye,
All right.
everyone.
Yeah, bye.